Okay, testing, we good? We on? You guys can hear us? Yeah. Guys can do a quick mic check. Mic check. This is bad. I had a big intro for each one of you. And we would come in, we would do music, lights off, but I guess we're just going to start. How you guys doing? Good? Well, welcome to the panel. We have some great YouTubers here. We're going to have a great discussion. We want this to feel more like, we want all of your questions answered, so we will be taking questions as well. Hence the mic right here. But we're going to learn about the people to my left. First, just to introduce in case you don't know who they are, we've got Emily, Diana, Ruth. Do I have to say your middle name?
Yes.
We also have Liam Dryden. We have Benjamin Cook. And we have Sabrina Cruz. And this is our panel. Give it up for our panel. I love this so much. When VidCon first approached me and wanted to talk about basically working YouTube as a part-time job, I was so into it because that is what the biggest, I think, excuse for creators is well, I can't work. My mom and dad say I need to do this, or I don't have enough time. And we have people in every kind of part of their career with YouTube here. So I'm going to open this up to the floor as the first question, which is the traditional media opportunities. And we'll kind of work our way back. I want to know what traditional media opportunities have come solely off of your success from YouTube. In other words, YouTube is your resume, you did something, somebody saw it, hired you for something else.
I mean, I think like when I moved to London 2 years ago, I was applying for a lot of sort of media marketing, social media, video type jobs. And I was really unsure at the beginning if I should be putting my YouTube channel on my resume. So I was like, this is a bit awkward, like my videos get a bit personal. But I did it anyway, and it turned out to be like such a big selling factor for me. It was that, they looked at the number of views that I would get, and they would think, oh, if this person can market themselves, then, maybe they can help us market our own products. That's definitely a big push for me. And then the biggest opportunity I've had to date is, recently, last month I released a film with New Form Digital called Cold, and Ben Cook's in the same boat with this. And that is like literally Hollywood, like calling out YouTubers and being like, make a movie. So it's just like, not something I thought would ever happen, and definitely not.
You got to go to dinner with Ron Howard.
Yeah, I got to hang out with Ron
That's
Howard.
The best, that dinner was the best thing that's come out of YouTube for me.
Yeah.
Free steak.
What about the rest of you guys, Liam?
I guess probably the job I'm currently in at the moment. Anybody who watches my content will know that my channel has been a little bit barren for a few months. And that's because I've kind of been working full-time as a content writer for a website called Pop Buzz. We do a lot of music and news entertainment. Shameless plug, they'll be happy for that. But basically, I kind of went in with that, so I've got the job description we got from a friend, and I kind of went in, I already had YouTube on my CV, which I've been trying to use in other capacities, but it doesn't translate very well. In a lot of, when it comes to content writing and stuff, if I'm writing I applied for a job for a theatre ticket website, and they were like, you can write about plays, and I currently can't write about plays. But this place, because not just through the things I've made in video form, but also just being able to kind of speak the language of internet. I'm pretty active on Tumblr as well, also on Instagram and Twitter and all sorts of stuff as well. And they just kind of wanted somebody who's sort of able to speak that language and also kind of make video content occasionally and know video content. We also write about a lot of YouTube stuff, and they like having somebody who knows that world.
Just to follow up, it sounds like you knew a lot about this world before even getting started with YouTube, but what has YouTube, have you learned anything you wouldn't have known had you not jumped into this world of content creation?
Me personally?
Yeah. We'll keep on.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I forgot it as well.
Okay.
No, so since you started, in other words, you get into YouTube and you think you know it all.
Yeah.
A lot of people do, I know what there is to know. And all of a sudden you start learning new things. What new things did you learn from doing it?
Sort of something that's kind of on the other side of the coin, in that there are people who now just don't know the things I know who I expect to be in charge. Like a lot, like in my current, like I said, in the job I'm in right now, like I am kind of the go-to guy for sort of YouTube information and content and stuff like that. And you expect people, like my job is in like a traditional media capacity. I'm writing, within like a radio company, and you expect them to kind of be on the top of the form and know everything that's kind of happening in terms of media development, and that includes like digital and YouTube and things like that. But sometimes they just let it slip. They just don't really know anything about like independent content creators and the community behind it. And so they just need somebody who tends to be their go-to guy, and at the moment that is me.
Yeah, it sounds like even the language, when a lot of big companies are working with other companies and whatnot, the language of influencer. You'd be surprised at how many of the corporations just don't know certain terms and whatnot.
So many of them still want things to just go viral. Right? How do we make this viral? How do we make a viral video? You just make a video and just hold. That's all it is.
That is the biggest thing I've heard too. A lot of companies will say, we want to make a viral video, come to the, and it's almost setting you up to fail.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we want Liam to do a viral video for us. It doesn't quite work that way.
What I've found increasingly hard is that people are offering, often companies will come to YouTubers offering us some money to give them advice about YouTube. So you don't want to say, I don't know, like just, as Liam said, like there's no secret to a viral video. So you find yourself saying, well, there's certain things that you can do, and there are certain secrets to being successful on YouTube. I'm not sure there are. I'm not sure. I don't feel like I'm an expert.
Do something reactionary. That's the only word of advice. Do something reactionary.
Yeah, do something reactionary. Hope.
Don't sell your soul for it.
That is true. I think between the two of you, one of the things I'm picking up is that, although you don't know, you know content creation, you go into this company, you have to know marketing. So, that's something, as a content creator, you just do the video, and then you just don't just leave it there. You're trying to figure out what to do. So, these companies who approach you who are saying, yeah, create a viral video. And I was like, well, I can't. However, here's what I've done in the past. So it's this information you've learned. Ben, what success have you had based solely on your YouTube?
Success that I had. Straight out of doing sort of YouTube stuff, I did earlier this year I did a show for Channel 4 in the UK called Tofu, which was a documentary about sex. And that was commissioned specifically because Channel 4 and Red Media, who made it, had seen my YouTube stuff. And again, they did that thing so many brands do, where they kind of think, okay, he understands YouTube. We're over the age of 40, so we don't, but he looks like he does. Here's some money, go and make us something that will be successful. And I suppose, in truth, I knew a little bit more about YouTube than they did, but not huge amounts. It was a huge learning curve for me. But it was interesting sort of working with TV people and going into meetings where they just sort of look expectantly at you, as if you can press some buttons on YouTube and just make it happen. So that's not how YouTube works. Ostensibly, like making that series is, like you go through the same process that you go through when becoming YouTube, or when making a Hollywood movie, or when making a TV show. Like, it's the same basic principle. Whenever we're filming some YouTube thing with no money, and like there's just a crew of your mates, and you're filming in the middle of a field somewhere at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you have to stop because, like, I don't know, an aeroplane or something has gone overhead, or a car alarm has gone off. I always find some comfort in knowing that there's a Hollywood movie being made somewhere on the other side of the world where exactly the same thing is happening to a crew. They're having to just stop because a car alarm has gone off or a plane has gone over. It's all made the same way. It's marketed slightly differently. There's things you can do in YouTube, like thumbnails and collabs that perhaps aren't quite the same in the movies. So they are the same in the movies.
Yeah.
It's like
a trailer.
Avengers Assemble. It's just a great big freaking collab. That's what it is.
Yeah. It's a good point. And Sabrina, what about you?
Well, honestly, I'm pretty young, so like 17 years old. I want to focus more on high school rather than getting a job, right? So I haven't really applied to many jobs, but the cool thing about YouTube is that a lot of them have come to me. So I've been asked to be in a game show, host a channel, and also maybe do a thing that's kind of like SNL for young people. So thanks to my YouTube channel and how I market myself as a personality, I get a lot of job opportunities, and that is very cool because I don't have to leave my bed to do that.
So you have the fortune of not having to worry about rent. I'm assuming your parents aren't making
Yes,
pay
it's
rent.
very nice.
Right.
My money goes towards snack food.
Nice. Ben, what do you do to, if you can share with us, what do you do to pay rent, to make a living? I say pay rent, I mean, what brings in the money?
No, YouTube certainly doesn't. Like my background is as a journalist. It's what I did. I paid my way through university by like writing for magazines and newspapers and things. And I continued doing that after I left, and I still sort of do that now. YouTube has taken over a little bit, but like that is my day job. You know, when I was trying to get into your glorious country like a few days ago, we're at passport control, like border control, that's what I say I do. I say I'm a journalist. So they just wave you through. If I say I'm a YouTuber, they're there asking questions.
Yeah. Well, anybody, we're all YouTubers. If you uploaded a video, you're a YouTuber, I feel like.
Well, I said to the guy on security that I was going to VidCon, which is a convention about like online video. And he just like thought for a moment and went, so where is the thing? Where do they store all the videos? And I thought, like, if this question is going to be make or break as to whether I'm allowed into the country, internet?
He's just a billion miles of tape.
A lot of tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, the inner workings. Nobody out there really knows. We're constantly questioned, I feel like, on how it works. How do you make even $1 off of it? What do you do?
So I started before even YouTube. I was focused on filmmaking primarily. I went to film school, and then YouTube was very much just a hobby, and I never really thought the two things would sort of fuse together. So I did a little bit of like working full time when I first moved to London, sort of working in marketing or digital video for larger companies. And then I got to the point where I knew that if I was going to continue working full time, I was going to have to say no to any opportunity to make a film. I wasn't making any videos on YouTube. I just did not have the capacity to do it. And so I decided to try freelancing as a videographer. And so for now, I sort of do like corporate videos, videos for publishers, media companies. I even do some filming and editing for other YouTubers, just anything, that can get me a little paycheck so that I can sort of keep making my own stuff. And obviously the hope is eventually I'll be able to be paid to, make my own work. That's always the goal. But for now, this is working out well enough for me to keep doing it.
Yeah. So there is a struggle, I feel like, for any YouTuber in this position. You don't just go from 0 to Tyler Oakley. It doesn't just happen. Or 0 to Jenna Marbles, or 0 to anybody. I mean, there is a struggle. Now, I think the biggest thing people do is they look at these success stories and they say, oh, okay, well, I want that, and I want it, that, I want that. And you don't know the full story unless they vlog, and then you know the full story. So is becoming a YouTuber, just general, not specifically to you, Ben, but is becoming a YouTuber a goal, to become a YouTuber full time? And I'll start with Sabrina, because you, I think, have the most control of the people up here to make a conscious decision of what you want to do with no consequence. Where it's not the same for these other guys.
It's just so young. Only we will that young.
Potential still.
Oh, we're old. It's too late for us. But for you, run, just run.
Right now. No, it's honestly such a terrifying decision sometimes, because part of me has this faith in how successful YouTubers can be, and how there are many that can do it full time and be more successful than people with traditional jobs. But at the same time, we all know how risky it can be, right? A majority of YouTubers are doing it part-time. They have to focus on another career. So now I have to make this conscious decision in my high school, where do I want to focus on going to university, or do I do YouTube? Which is terrifying. Do you guys have any input on that, by the way?
I think if you have the like financial ability and interest in going to university, then definitely go to university. The thing about YouTube that terrifies me is that, you know, it's only been 10 years. Like, we have no idea where this website is going, if it's going to blow up, if, you know, it's going to totally change completely. Like, we have no idea what's going to happen. And if you have a university degree, it's always there to fall back on. It's something that will teach you way more than just whatever subject you're studying. Like living away from home, like how to manage, how to balance everything, meeting lots of cool people. I don't know. I went to university.
I should go to university then.
Yeah.
Thank you. You just made my life for me.
So I'm just going to interject and say, and as a moderator, I'm not really supposed to do this, but for the sake of devil's advocate, I'm going to disagree. And it's the biggest eye-opening because, as you know, first of all, I feel like we've been hearing we don't know where this YouTube place is going. I heard that 7 years ago from a guy I was working with named Toby Turner. He said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. And he's been saying that for 7 years. And now it's not to say don't go to school, don't go to university, because that's a great fallback, but maybe to add to it, and this is for all of you, is doing YouTube part-time like all of these guys are doing it part-time can open up so many opportunities that if you do have that degree, it kind of will give you the knowledge that when a company does contact you, you're not sitting there going, I don't know, I just hit upload and that's it. You can actually talk about it and you have something to support that.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube actually helped me change my perspective on my degree. I originally went to study linguistics because somebody said that would be the best thing to do. Thanks, Mum. So 2 years after that, I started YouTube and I was like, well, actually, I like this film thing. I like doing this. I like creating things. I'm going to switch to film and also English lit because apparently it's not a good thing to do on something. But yeah, so like that, it kind of offered this new kind of perspective in how to, like, what my actual career path was going to be. And it's helped me kind of maintain a balance between the two, I think. And it's just nice to kind of have that room for learning more.
And you took YouTube, you got a job, and now you kind of stopped your YouTube.
Accident.
Well, I mean, you get busy and you fall in love with a new opportunity.
Yeah, it's all about, I mean, it is about your personal circumstance, I think. Like, YouTube I started because I needed a creative outlet. I used to do a lot of drama and music. I've told this backstory so many times now, but like, I used to do like drama and music in high school, I moved to uni, I didn't have that. I started YouTube, it was great. Like, I had videos, I was making that constantly. And now that I'm writing and doing stuff on like a day-to-day basis for a company, that's like, my creative energy is going there, which means when I come home I just want to like sit and binge TV. I don't really like it. So I'd like to go back to making videos, and after this weekend is over, you know, get back on the horse, as we always say we will do. That's our challenge with friends. So we have to start making videos like twice a month at least. So, but yeah, no, it's basically it is down to kind of how you handle your own personal circumstances.
Well, I'm going to open that up to a new question, which is how do you balance the life of school or journalism or wanting to do stuff that's going to make you money and doing stuff that could potentially make you millions and millions of dollars? Because let's not lose fact of the point that there are YouTubers out there, not in this room, I don't think, that are making millions of dollars creating content. So
Not in this room. Just to clarify.
Show of hands, millionaires. Show of hands available, single millionaires.
This is like my personal crisis at the moment, to be totally honest, is that, I mean, so YouTube is kind of like my hobby that like helps me, but with my career, it's like, it's film, it's freelance videography, whatever. It's very much about making the short-term investments, like the work that I can do now to earn me money now so that I can buy groceries now, but also doing work that is kind of seeding, sowing seeds for future opportunities. So I mean, I've been doing YouTube for about 4 or 5 years now. At first there was like absolutely no money and no opportunities, but making this film with Newform Digital, that would have never happened if I hadn't put in 5 years of basically working for free. And you have to work for free a lot, it seems, in creative industries. I don't know why, I don't like it, but it does seem like you have to find a way to do both things. I don't know how.
Yeah, it's really a priority game because sometimes there are things that are going to happen immediately. For me, I had to do my exams, and that was just hell month. Every single teacher just shoved everything down my throat. So I ended up going on a 3-month-long hiatus because of that, the extra tour, because I was binging on Netflix afterwards. And I think that sometimes it is fine to take a break off. I forgot the question. Nailed it. What was that again? Yeah, that happens a lot.
How do you balance your schoolwork with creating content?
Oh yeah, prioritization. I decide and I make a schedule for myself. Like I want to do this amount of schoolwork, and then I want to do this YouTube video. So YouTube is my break from schoolwork, and schoolwork is my break from YouTube. Basically, that's how it works for me.
It's necessity, usually. It's like if you're given the choice between uploading another episode of Becoming YouTube or not just eating cardboard and dripping because you can't afford a loaf of bread, you're going to go with, doing the work that will pay the rent and put food on the table, and then Becoming YouTube gets pushed back a little further still.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
and I think that in a part-time sense, the priority. Where was I going with this? I definitely had a thought, and I've been thinking about it ever since Sabrina was talking. It's a case of making sure, if you're doing part-time and you're stuck for ideas, if you have an idea of what you want to do, just do it. That's fine. Find the time for it. But if you find that you're trying to balance YouTube with another job, you're like, I need to keep to my weekly schedule, and I don't have any ideas, and I have this assignment to do. Just do the assignment. Just don't bother with the channel. If you let it kind of do what you have to do to survive first before you can deal with your creative struggle, I guess.
That's really good advice.
Yeah, that is good. The stress of having to create content sometimes will sacrifice the creativity or the creative outlet you get from it.
Exactly, yeah.
One big thing that I think everybody should know is that you don't just make money off of YouTube advertisement. You don't just make money off of a brand deal or somebody contacting you to do another job. The reason a lot of those people outside of this room make a lot of money is they've created their own brand. So when they're selling things to people who are diehard fans, they're making the biggest margin of money off of that and not getting paid to push somebody else's product out there. What that does is that puts you in a position to be a piece of stock, which means you have to invest a lot in yourself. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of possibly not eating a day or two, or having Subway for 6 months.
Too expensive.
$5 foot bombs might be too much. But one of the biggest perks is being your own boss when creating this stuff. You don't have to answer to the people who are paying the money. So what are the pluses of that? And then I guess the pluses of actually having a boss telling you what to do.
I got a lot of days off. Being my own boss. It's take a month or a year, fine, it's fine. But I guess it's also it's the same for anybody who's their own boss, that nobody's telling them what to do. You've got a vision to follow, and you set your own boundaries for that, or not if you need them, if need be. You're in charge, and you don't have to worry about anyone else putting any limitations on that.
Yeah,
unless you're doing something like a brand deal, in which case they like to send you lots of edits and red ink.
That can also be kind of detrimental, I think, when you don't have anyone to be accountable to. You can always just kind of let it slide a little bit more, no one's really going to care. So I think it has good sides. I definitely prefer to be my own boss, but sometimes it's really refreshing to have some kind of schedule or other things that are going on in my life. I would love to have a part-time job right now. I could work 2 days a week, and I know that that's what I'm going to be working and what I'm going to be making, just so that's sort of taken care of, and so I have less time to be doing my own stuff, so that I know that when I have that time, I will get it done. So there are definitely good sides and bad sides. I love not going into a busy, super air-conditioned office every day. That's definitely my favorite.
You really hate air conditioning, don't you?
Emily's really talk about that.
I'm cold all VidCon.
Oh my goodness. Ben, Sabrina, did you want to add anything?
For me, I find structure really comforting. So when I'm doing my own videos on my own channel, I find that I never make them because I always find excuses, and that's one of the downsides to being your own boss. But I also work for the people who make Crash Course and SciShow, and they are they're very nice, creative bosses, but they still have that structure. We have to film this now, we have to do this in this set amount of time. And I find that a really nice vacation from doing all of just casual stuff, you know, Netflix and then occasionally a YouTube video. So I like structure. It's helpful. Yes.
Ben, anything?
The greatest thing about being your own boss is it's the same as the worst thing. It's like it's Netflix is there. And that's the best thing. Like Sense8, I blitzed Sense8. Oh god.
It's research.
It's so good. This is what happens. Like this is what happens 100 times every day. In your head, you just go, "Oh, Sense8 is so good. I mean, I could just watch one." And so then you find that then 2 days have gone past, and you're still in your pajamas and you haven't washed. You have reached the finale of Sense8. So, that's what it's worse than.
Your boss tells you, well done for reaching that.
Yeah.
You say thanks to me.
If you think your boss is a dick, and then you realise it's just you, and there's no one to hate.
Well, eventually you get out of your
Fine.
pajamas, right? Eventually you get out of your pajamas and make something like...
Don't make presumptions about me.
Well, look, you made Becoming YouTube.
I did.
You did.
That was the thing.
I did,
Yeah,
yes.
it was pretty cool. It's all right. So what happens? So you're sitting there watching Netflix. You come up with this idea. What's the actual story? Because that's not the story.
Of Becoming YouTube was that, as I said, my background is as a journalist, and I found myself in a position sort of 2011, 2012, where I had a number of friends. Charlie McDonald was over there, being one of them, who did the YouTube thing, and
Oh God, he hates you for that.
luckily he's right near the door, so you run too. And there was people like Charlie and Liam who were just making stuff from their bedroom and in their own small ways changing the world a little bit and making great stuff and having a real laugh doing it. And as a journalist, I wanted to document that by making a documentary series about them, about my friends. And I also wanted to be a part of it because it looked like tremendous fun. So I made Becoming YouTube, which is sort of a documentary about YouTubers, but also it's a documentary about me, really.
Well, that's good. But I really want to. These people are sitting here. A lot of them, I'm sure, want to be up here. Even though this might be a struggle sometimes, it might be more of a struggle out there. I want to know the moment you came up with this, if you can recall, and what that took to get off your butt from watching Netflix.
It's finding other people. And you're right, there are probably plenty of people here who want to be making YouTube stuff. But there's plenty of you. You're probably sat next to someone who wants to make YouTube stuff. So get talking to them and just make things, whether it's a collab channel or whether you're gonna, if you live close enough, just want to meet up and film stuff. That's what we did with Becoming YouTube. I just got together with my mates, and through them I was introduced to some other people who are now good friends, and someone who, the guy who filmed a lot of Becoming YouTube, a guy called Kieran O'Brien, who films loads of UK YouTube stuff. He agreed to do it for me for free because he really wanted to meet Charlie and many other YouTubers as well. He wanted to show people like Charlie, this is what I can do as a director of photography. And now Charlie and Kieran have worked together many times, and you just find people who want to learn and make stuff and be creative, and make stuff and be creative.
But what if Becoming YouTube was a failure? What if it wasn't good?
That was not a possibility I entertained.
Why not?
It wasn't really a possibility that I entertained, because if you're making something thinking, oh man, this could really fail, then that's when you probably do go back to Netflix and just not get out of bed. You've got to have, there's a certain, even for the most introverted YouTubers, there's a certain arrogance that you have to believe that anything you make is worth 2 or 3 minutes of someone's time. Becoming YouTube, each episode's about half an hour, so it's incredibly arrogant to believe that it's worth half an hour of your time. You've got to have that arrogance and that kind of confidence in what you're doing. Even if as a person you might be quite shy in front of a camera and a bit nervous about doing it, and you have your doubts and you have your 4 o'clock in the morning staring at a blank sheet of paper, having to fill it with a script that you're filming in 3 hours' time, and you're aware that it's going to be raining, so that's bugging you, and all the things you've got to keep in your mind if you're making a show. But you've got to believe that it will be all right in the end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, that's great. And then, I think the lesson learned is, you sit there and you could fail. You might. If you think you will, you probably will. And if you do, you know what? I'm sure we wouldn't be here talking about that. I'm sure there's a lot of things that all of you have done that nobody has seen, that have been failures, and we're not talking about them, but we all learn from it, We're going to turn it over to you guys. I don't know how questions are okay. What's your name?
My name is Sari. Oh, that's loud. Hi, my name is Sari. I like the part it looked good. And thank you for becoming YouTube. You need to do a new episode now that, Britain's taken over YouTube. So I've been making videos since the first year of YouTube, and, I've watched it rise and fall. That is really loud. And I've watched, all these different gimmicks and everything. And at this point, I'm 30. I just got married, I'm pregnant, and and I actually, right before VidCon, I put out a video where I just said, hey guys, I'm gonna kind of scale it back a lot. I'm not gonna try as hard. But being here, obviously I'm getting all fired up again. And so I'm trying to figure out basically
Can I just interrupt? That's my baby. That's my personal baby. So whatever. No, it is. And so whatever, if you're using that as an excuse, I'm going to interject right now and just say, if you're going to scale it back, I took that and I'm starting to create content based around. Okay.
Sorry. No, what I was going to say is my idea of scaling back. So for instance, I have 2 channels. One is a gaming channel and one is a feminist, talk-free, equality, whatever. And I used to put a lot of time in editing into those videos, and what I want to do is just kind of make it just straight a talk video. But some of the panels have said that, if you make the quality, not as good quality, then you're really hurting yourself. So I'm wondering if that really matters. Shaking your head.
Okay, I do a project every July called Letters to July that was born under the idea that I felt like I had been making stuff that I really liked, and I didn't have the time to put that much energy into a video anymore because I was too busy. And so I wanted to just make 1 minute of video per day for a month, and I was gonna not overthink it. I was just gonna do it. I was gonna not make it perfect. And I love those videos because I don't overthink them. They're really simple. They're really true. And I personally think that YouTube is gonna go through a grunge phase where we go back to basics, where we kind of strip away all this high production stuff because really we just want to see people see into people's lives and make sense of our own lives because of that. So I think if you want to just talk to a camera, I think that's really cool. People will probably feel more close to you because of that, and maybe that will give you, people will feel more engaged in what you're making. So I think definitely just give it a try.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh no, I was really inspired by that, so now I'm more of a statement, and can you find a question in it? Being a small YouTuber who's been a small YouTuber since 2009, and when you're coming to these, I came in 2012, this is my second time coming back. I love it, everybody here probably loves it. And the advice is be consistent, collaborate, share yourself, etc., which is all very valid and very good to be reminded of. And collaborate within your bracket, collaborate with your friends. And what it seems like happens as you rise with your friends, which is a very important component of that. All of you guys did that. You became friends with the people you wanted to rise with. It was all, I feel from being a viewer of each and every one of you, it feels authentic that you rose with them. But as everybody rises with the mountain just gets bigger because 5 years ago, 10,000 was crazy, or 100,000 was insane, and now we're looking at millions. So as the mountain gets bigger, and this is a part-time thing for the majority of everybody else, how do you help inspire people to stay committed and find that voice that inspires others so that they commit to collaborating with you and climbing that mountain with you?
Okay, that's a big question.
That's a lot, I know.
Let's break this down. Let's break this down. So So 5 years ago, a lot of content creators made their rise, and a big part of that was not solely because it was collaborations. People rose together in packs. All right, it's changed. So nowadays, people in here, we call it a part-time YouTuber because YouTube has now become something that people visualize as a business. I can make this my business. 10 years ago, there was no money to be made on YouTube. People didn't do it to make it their business or to sell things. So the reason a majority of those people are where they are today is because they use YouTube as a platform, as a creative outlet, which is what Sabrina's doing. So I believe that a lot of it has changed these days. And so yes, it is difficult now that there's money to be made. So that in mind, what would be some advice that you guys could give?
This is something I was going to touch on earlier and then kind of lost my train of thought, but I think that for part-time YouTubers, the focus more than anything should be passion. Like, you've got to love what you're making, because otherwise there's not really much point in making it when you're trying to prioritize time with other commitments in your life. And I think that having more time focusing on numbers and growth is going to be a black hole that sucks you in and takes the joy out of all of that.
Right, so my perspective personally of trying to walk this walk, as I say it, about to say it, is that this monetary and statistical success should be a fringe benefit, and you should be reframing your idea of success. So when the masses are looking at it as a business, how would you help reframe others to bring it back to be, this is a passion, and if people love it as a passion, then that fringe benefit may happen, but also this is a passion. So I think that was where I was trying to go with it.
Right, yeah, so what you're trying to say is like, how do we encourage more people to kind of appreciate YouTube as an art form rather than business?
Right.
Okay, thoughts?
I don't know if that's possible as our job, but I do know that it's possible to happen, and that's you personally creating content for the sheer purpose of not the money or not the numbers.
Watch the right stuff as well. Like there's some of the most exciting stuff at the moment is being made by smaller YouTubers, because once you've got 1 million subs, you can't slag off anyone on YouTube. Whereas the people who have got just, and I don't mean other YouTubers, I mean you've got to be very careful what you say, just anything that's too political.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the most exciting stuff are YouTubers with just a few hundred subs who don't care, have nothing to lose, and can just be so honest and so raw and so artistic and so dark, and make stuff that's challenging and difficult and brilliant. And I would much prefer to watch like It's Me Mario or people like that who are making some amazing stuff. I would much prefer to watch anything that he's doing over, bless him, like Marcus Butler, whose content has become so anodyne because it's had to, because he can't make anything interesting because he's too successful to make anything worth watching. So embrace being a smaller YouTuber.
Right.
Sorry, Marcus.
Every level has a different story.
Yeah.
So embracing the better side of it is.
Yeah, and I don't even know what content we could say, hey, you need to create this. If you browse hard enough, you're gonna see things that are made for tens of thousands of dollars that have 6,000 views on it. So it's kind of like, and then what happens is, content creators all the time will be in a room and not be doing it for that creativity. It's what challenge can we do? What insane thing can we do that's going to go viral? And that becomes now the new goal for people, rather than what I think a lot of people started YouTube as was like, oh my God, my mom's going to find this hilarious. So I'm just going to make this.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Dalen, and I am a small YouTuber. I do a lot of gaming stuff myself, but my biggest thing is that I just graduated from high school, and I'm going to be renting my own house with a couple of friends fairly soon, and we all are into the entertainment stuff just in general, not even just games, but like movies and everything like that. So we want to be able to do like YouTube and like have our own website that we're running and all that kind of stuff. And we want to be able to do all that. At the same time, we know, well, we have to make sure that we have what's going to be our rent. We have a place that we're going to be able to stay, and we know we have a lot of other things that we're going to have to worry about. So my real question to you guys is, would you guys have any advice for like someone who wants to do lots and lots of stuff, has the ability to, has a lot of people on board to do it, but doesn't exactly have all that time and whatnot? Like, what would you say is the best way to try to set things up between, I'd say, about 3 people in particular. But
I'll just say off the bat, if Sabrina answers this, don't listen to her. I don't know if that's your experience. Sabrina, you need to listen to the answer.
Yeah. I'd say that if you've got a creative vision, that's amazing, but your priority is you and your safety. So, as a part-time, I've been a part-time YouTuber for 7 years now, well, a little on and off, but in that time I've also been a part-time student, full-time student, but also I've been a bartender, I'm a writer now. I've been working as you go because sometimes you just have to do what needs to be done to keep yourself alive, above all else. I've got creative goals that I've been trying to fulfill as I go along, but ultimately it's a case of balancing the time between that and doing something that's less fun just to get the bills paid. And that might, I hope that kind of answers your question a little bit. But it's I don't know, it's just, I don't want to just say get a job, but it's one of those things that I found very handy just to kind of not only just add a little bit of structure while I've been trying to work on things creatively, but also, doesn't have to have a little bit of money coming in that way.
And also, I suppose some people would say that actually if you want to pursue, your passion, then you need to live it and breathe it, and as Liam said, stay safe, but it'll mean if you want to fit in all the stuff you want to do, it'll mean getting much less sleep and drinking a lot of coffee and just working really, really hard and not binging on Netflix and not giving in to all these distractions. And I think it helps if you're surrounded by people, as it sounds like you are, who share your passion. That helps.
Yeah,
But then it just, instead of hanging out with your friends, you make stuff with your friends, and you're both hanging out and making art, and there's nothing better than just making cool stuff with your mates.
Yeah.
So you'll find time.
Yeah, you could be really uninspired one day, but your buddy will be super inspired, and then all of a sudden, he'll bring that out of you. He'll get you out your butt watching Netflix in your pajamas.
We are sponsored by Netflix.
Why isn't this event sponsored by Netflix? Every other video platform is here.
We have a quota.
Yeah, if you use the code Netflix.com/Benjamin Cook, get 30 days free. I don't believe we're going to have time. We probably won't have time for question time. And I have to say, with anybody behind glasses on forehead, we probably won't have time for it. Because we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up this one. The glasses will probably be the last question. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hey guys.
Thanks.
Alright, so I'm kind of very similar to you guys. I have a YouTube channel where I can definitely relate what you're talking about, where you have your lazy days and stuff. I don't show my face in any of my videos because what I do is I improvise technology, all of the weapons and gadgets that you see in video games, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, all that stuff. And I go to the hardware store and I recreate them in real life, and they're not just cosplay, they're actually working models. So I kind of struggle with what you're saying, where you have the schooling and stuff, and I'm about to take that leap where I'm going from a part-time YouTuber to be full-time, and especially with the connections that I'm making here, what's, with you, Liam, what do I look out for? What do you, how do you keep in check that, you're going to be expanding, and how do you digest the type of responsibility that you're going to have? Right now I'm at 300,000 subscribers, and I don't have a face to it, so I'm trying to expand with the character, into a realm of, people say oh, you'd be the best guy to have, a zombie killing squad. So I'm trying to, expand on that, or when are you going to become a real life Batman? So there's a lot of areas that I can expand into, how do I preserve who I am? And I don't know if you guys have any experience with MCNs. I honestly have no agent, no manager. It's a one-man show, filming everything with my iPhone. And I brought this far. What should I look out for? And sorry, that's a big question.
And just to set you up as well, you're in a really interesting position here because you have 300,000 subscribers, but you may not be. There are people with maybe 20,000 subscribers who are further than you, doing this full-time for a living, making a lot of money. So do you guys have some advice for him?
No, I make some of the stuff that I do is just tutorials. So like I made like a flamethrower, and I was like, oh, like Team Fortress 2 flamethrower. I made like a stun glove based off of the Iron Man 3 stun glove from the movie. So like, you know, there's a lot of expansion. But as far as tutorials go, I do stuff with like office supplies. Like I made like a. Yeah, but I mean like, yeah, that's a good
Come
idea.
join us on the
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I definitely could sell them, but like I'm looking more, you know, big picture as Kickstarter and using this as an expansion into actual marketing, not just you know being.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of tools for that, obviously. I mean, I think going back to what you were saying earlier, I think that fan engagement is a really good thing in terms of like the things that people are suggesting, because if people see that you're doing what they're suggesting, like real life Batman or something like that, then they'll come back and they're like, oh, maybe I'll do something else I suggest, and then people will just keep coming, your audience will keep growing, and that kind of growth, you know, people like investors and brands will start paying attention to that. As far as MCNs go, don't rule it out. It depends, like, but you know, it depends. You gotta find one that works for you, and always read the fine print.
Are you with one currently?
I'm currently signed with Big Frame, and yeah, and it's so like on and off they've done a lot of great work and they've helped me out quite a bit. But you know, again, it's there are a lot of like individual experiences that would suggest otherwise, and again, it's just down to what you think suits you the best, and you can feel free to shop around if anyone approaches you. But yeah, I think that in terms of like funding, something you're doing could be supported quite well on something like Patreon. I don't know if you've seen them around this weekend.
Yeah, I was thinking of like you now, because I spend like 60 hours a week researching, and if I just had a camera filming everything, if you want to watch it, it's there.
Do you know what Patreon is?
So Patreon, to my understanding, is basically your diehard fans that are willing to put up more money for content that's marketed toward them specifically.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like a friend of mine suggested or called it an online tip jar.
Yeah.
So like, you know, for your video content, it's like not obligatory for them to pay, but like if you want to offer like other things like parts and like a bonus video, or hell, even just like send them some of the stuff you made for like a high price.
Yeah.
You know, you like that's definitely like something that I think if your audience is engaged enough, would definitely have an interest in.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we have time to go over MCNs. I think that would take more than one VidCon.
Don't worry about that.
You know, ironically, I released a video yesterday talking about MCNs, and I do a series called Exposed, where I expose different television shows, and I only do it when I'm really passionate about it, and yesterday's was MCNs. And I don't really take a side, I just, take my experience, so it hasn't been good. But, an MCN is really hard because, there are tens of thousands of channels that these MCNs have. So, if you're looking for your career to be managed, because again, you're in an interesting position, then it might be great for you, or it might just be a traditional manager. So I know you're in that position of where do I go next? How do I get a weekly paycheck?
Building like an infrastructure of a business.
And we talked about a little bit of branding yourself. Like maybe you don't sell those products, but is there a temporary tattoo that you're able to sell, or a t-shirt that you're able to sell because people love you as a brand? And that's why I said somebody with 20,000 might have built that from the beginning. So you might be having to start from scratch when it comes to that.
Right.
The other advice I would give is marketing. I think it's a huge one. And you're marketing right now. In fact, you see me after, really weird, but I work with a company who I just was told they want to do it-yourself stuff. And it might be a good opportunity. I don't know if you can work with brands, but if that interests you, then that's not
definitely.
cool. So I consider this marketing right now.
Yeah, currently, like basically working on a t-shirt design that looks like an Iron Man armor or something, and it has my logo like in the center, sort of like the arc reactor, and it's front and back, so it's just kind of like something that I don't show my face in the videos, but I'm looking to make like a mask that's like has animatronics and cosplay or the lights, all the bells and whistles to impress people. Then it's like, oh hey, like, if you like this, your revolver, you can buy your own and get someone's revolver.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of at that, like I said, I'm at that like point where I'm just like peeking over, like, okay, this could go really well. So I really appreciate your advice.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So I do competitive gaming as well. I do like a lot of like fighting gaming stuff and like Smash Brothers. So yeah. So I do a lot of, I want to do more stuff with YouTube, but I'm also a grad student and I also have a part-time job and I also stream. And another thing like with Twitch is like they want a consistent schedule, right? So if I stream Smash with like Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m., but I also have like homework and then work as well. There's also YouTube too, which you also need to be consistent. So do you have like any advice to like balance all of this?
I'll turn this to Emily. Emily, as far as the schedule goes on YouTube, what is your thoughts on that?
On having like consistent times.
Yeah, because like YouTube and Twitch, you have to like be consistent with
Yeah.
both. So.
I hear this is a good strategy. I don't personally. I can't. I mean, my channel's kind of all over the place, but you definitely hear like, you know, the algorithm is going to work to your benefit. If you are posting at the same time, people will expect a video from you at this time. I think it's definitely good for that reason, but it's also great to hold yourself accountable to that schedule. You sound like a very busy person, which I feel like I can relate to. When I was in university, I was all over the place too. And I mean, I think if you just like put the same level of importance on getting those videos done at that time, you know, it might not always happen that way, but like it will happen better if you have like those deadlines.
Sabrina, what about you?
And from an analytical perspective, like being consistent is very good. The YouTube algorithm definitely loves that. But you don't want to let that schedule like restrain or constrain your creativity. If it feels like it's soul-sucking, you should probably take a break. Like, that's all I have to say on that, I think. Don't let it murder you, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so mine, I just kind of wanted to give like a little backstory because I think it could benefit people, and then I have a question for Emily. So I was kind of like in Sabrina's boat where I started my channel back when I was 15, and I did music. And the advice that I would give to you, Sabrina, actually, because now I'm 21, would be maybe I didn't go to a four-year university, but I went to Full Sail, which I did my degree in film production, and it's a really quick program, so you can like get all that you need and get out really fast so that you can continue your content. And the reason why I say that is because you kind of want to hone a craft that you can always fall back to, that your fans or viewers probably know you for, because over time you're going to change as a person. So for me, where I started with music, I kind of rebranded after I went to school and realized that my passion was film. And I mean, I had an audience that came over with me, but I feel like if I didn't have a skill that I honed, it would have been a lot harder for that to happen. But my question for Emily is, having a film background, was it easy for you to transition into marketing? Because I'm kind of looking at that right now. And what obstacles did you have?
I mean, I was very specifically looking into like digital video marketing and online video, and that was like incredibly easy to transition because like I understood how to read YouTube analytics, and like, you know, no one else I worked with like could even go into that minefield. So it's definitely been really helpful. It was, one thing I would say is that film does not necessarily teach you about YouTube in the best possible way. I think there's a lot of stuff that I have like relearned because I've kind of started doing YouTube stuff as well. But I mean, definitely, I think.
Yeah, because for me right now, I'm working with a large YouTube channel. They have like over 2 million subscribers, so I'm editing for them right now, but I'm trying to transition into having like my own. So
How did you get that?
Well, since I started out with music, I got some opportunities just by collaborating and doing like different contests and things. So I can share. I work with Just Kidding Films. So, and they have Just Kidding Films, Just Kidding News, all those channels. So I edit for them, and since that's more behind the scenes, I want to rebrand and like be the face of my own thing, since my brand is kind of different from theirs. So that's how I got that.
So, I mean, you're another good example of, you know, you either going out and getting it or being contacted just because you're putting content out there. And in the meantime, I mean, you had Full Sail, you had school, so you had that stability in a sense.
Yeah.
So it's a good on you.
Thank you.
And did whoever wooed, did they work with you?
Yeah, who?
Went, woo! Somebody went, woo!
Oh, I have no idea. I know they were eating right now, so yeah.
Okay, music track.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Josie. I've been doing YouTube for about a year now, and I work a crappy retail job, okay? I work in customer service, so I can drain the life out of you. sometimes. So, do you have any advice? Like, I kind of been on and off with YouTube for a couple of months, and I just wanted to know if you had any advice about like motivation.
Channel it into your arts. No, I mean, I think that sometimes, like retail, a lot of people can identify with. I mean, how many other people in this room have worked in retail? How many people thought it was terrible? How many people who haven't worked in retail still know that they get a bad rap?
By the way, a lot of hands. This girl raised her middle finger.
At least 100 people in this room that kind of are on your level and kind of get that. So even just that as content in itself is something it gives you a space to vent, and also gives you a space where people can be like, I hear you.
Yeah, I actually made a video talking about please be nice to retail workers.
Yeah, I mean, in the past I've done stuff about shit people in the bar say when I was working in the bar, and it's not something I ever released, but it was still hard to just at least kind of make notes on that and be like, these are all very cliche things I hear every Saturday, and I'm still very bored of it, and I know people will agree. So it's just a case of finding that space to vent.
Just don't get fired.
Well, I mean, I don't say the name.
Put in a disclaimer.
And if you get fired, record it and upload it.
I will, so then I'll be the person. But yeah, what you were talking about earlier about vegging and Netflix, that's usually me when I want to go home. And, yeah. So so sometimes it's just oh, I just got home from being yelled by 3 people. I'll just vent. Sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're honest.
This is this must be the scariest kind of therapy ever.
Yeah.
On a couch, you have to stand up in front of a room full of people, and that's awful.
Yeah, I'm not saying to start this as a series, but because you might get fired for it. But oh my God, I'd love to hear customer service. I would subscribe to that channel. A customer service
I'm
complainer.
keeping receipts in the back of my head. So
Sure. Emily, you were going to say something.
I was gonna say, isn't this Lazy Waiter's origin story? He was a waiter, hated his job, and now look at him. I mean, I worked a lot in waitressing. I've never worked in retail, but sort of after I got out of that, even when I was working a job that wasn't what I wanted to do at all, I somehow always managed to weasel my way into angling it at film. Somehow I'd be like, well, maybe we should do this project. So I can understand in retail it might be hard to be like, well, let's make a YouTube video, but just try and figure out a way that you can tailor your personal experience into the direction you want it to be, because it is possible. I have turned non-video jobs into video jobs just by, I don't know, wanting it to happen. So.
And on top of all of that, look after yourself. I know you want to maintain a YouTube channel while working in a job full of crappy humans, but if they are making you feel terrible to the point where you do just want to crawl away and watch some stuff in the dark, do it. It's fine. Look after yourself, and then when you feel better and ready to deal with it, then make your stuff. But until then, your own I guess creative juices and mental health are equally as important.
thank you.
That's great. We have about 6 more minutes left, so I want 5 more minutes. So I want to talk about, I just want to harp on that as we go, and I want to hear from you guys what is next for you as far as on the space, off the space, and just some solid advice that we can give everybody here.
Do we want to be a full-time YouTuber? Because I don't want to be a full-time.
So, it's tough. I mean, I think everybody in here wants to at least be a part-time YouTuber, or at least learn what it's like to, see this end of it. See the, although everybody up here, you might view as, I use the word struggle loosely, but I mean, everybody, you guys to me are very successful. When I was researching each one of you, I was looking, that's success in my book. They're doing it. They're here, they're breathing, they're eating.
So the advice that I would give, I think, is that if you're going to be a part-time YouTuber, you shouldn't expect to suddenly blow up. I think we touched on that topic. Forgot that. You guys give your advice. I'll pipe up when I remember what I was going to say.
My advice would be there is no shame in being a part-time YouTuber at all. In fact, I think that your perspective on life is in a way, a bit more valuable than the people who have this full-time YouTube lifestyle, because it is a weird lifestyle. Like, I get very concerned seeing like young children watching daily vlogs of people who are full-time YouTubers, because that is not a normal life to have. And I worry that people are getting the wrong idea of what it's like to be like a 24-year-old. It's just a bit confusing to me. So I mean, I would much rather see somebody who has a real job and who has a real life and has the kind of struggles that I have talk to a camera than someone who is, you know, making a ton of money and like kind of losing touch with the reality a little bit.
Yeah.
So definitely, like, don't feel bad that you are just a part-time YouTuber. Like, I want to hear what you have to say, like, a lot more, to be honest.
And that also ties into like the slightly uncertain future of YouTube. Like, we don't know where this will be in a few years' time. Like, the website could disappear, and then all these people who have worked so hard for their careers will have nothing. And at the same time, I mean,
Liam, keep it light.
I know, sorry. And on the same side, like, you know, these like the people who are working full time constantly on their brands, and like, you know, these beautiful young 25-year-olds are not going to be young and beautiful 25 forever. Like, and that's a lot for a lot of people, not in every capacity, but for a lot of people, this is the appeal. So it's a case of maintaining that kind of keeping that foot and as an anchor in reality. That was a very long.
I just hate the term, you know, and I think the panel's called this part-time YouTuber. I hate that term because that's implying that you're trying to make a business out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody agrees up here, but just, I don't know, just the word part-time YouTuber. And we have talked about the fact that YouTube might not exist a year from now, 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Something else will, and the industry will evolve. But when you're a part-time YouTuber, when YouTube goes away, you go away. If you're a content creator when you can about stuff that you are really interested in, I feel like that's when you are going to evolve with whatever is next, right?
Yeah, I would say view YouTube as just another social networking platform like Twitter, Instagram. Like, you know, you are a storyteller, or you're a comedian, or you're an actor, or you're a filmmaker. Like, there's something behind what you're doing on YouTube that can be like extrapolated into many other industries.
Yeah, and on that vein, like, this might be a kind of a wary opinion to have in this particular capacity, but be wary of the term YouTuber just on its own. Like, it pigeonholes you into one very specific thing. Like, you know, if you're a filmmaker, you're also a filmmaker. You're a comedian, fine. You're a comedian on YouTube. You're a musician on YouTube. You are a sketch comedian on YouTube. You're a blogger, also on YouTube. You know,
or digital content creator.
Digital content creator. That's the pretentious term that we all love to use.
You can put that on your resume. You put YouTuber on your resume, they're not going to question it. They're going to pass you. I'm telling you, I've worked doing this stuff. They'll question it like, what is that? And then you'll be like, and then they'll say, what's your channel? And then you're like, you're going to see cats, and then it becomes a whole different thing.
The one I hate is influencer. Apparently we're influencers.
That's the way corporations see us. I mean, it's true though. We are.
I mean, we can use like YouTuber here as like safe umbrella term for everybody here. We're all YouTubers, it's great, it's fine, but it's not a profession. It's an umbrella term, but your profession is the stuff you make.
I love that though, because we're all YouTubers, and we're all on the same level. You know, we're all family here. All right, Ben.
I love
words
that.
of advice. I love that.
I can't top that. I mean, like, I suppose just surround yourself by the best of stuff, and that stuff doesn't have to be YouTube. Surround yourself with the best people you can, who you want to work with. Actually, if you want to improve your YouTube channel, go and read a good book. That has nothing to do with YouTube. Like, go for a walk. Like, just go into the theatre, or just surround yourself by good stuff and steal from all sorts of places, and steal from so many places that no one can tell where you stole from in the first place. That's what I do.
Sabrina, can you take us home on this?
Okay, so I can't really top being anchored in reality and finding creativity. So just and you've all heard it all before, but do stuff that you're passionate about, and eventually you'll find your rhythm, you'll keep growing. Just keep doing what you love.
Then I think this was a big success. So one more time, give it up for Emily.